Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. President Trump today announced a U.S. deal with United Kingdom, trade deal. Said many of his deals are still to be worked out. The details of this one, they're still on the pages being sorted out. But the president said he could announce more deals very soon.
We have many meetings planned today and tomorrow, and every country wants to be making deals.
And Martin Baccardax, senior editor and chief markets correspondent for TheStreet. Martin, always great to see you. In golf terminology, this one feels to me like a tap-in, U.S. U.K.
I think that's exactly the way to put it. It wasn't that far from the hole, and I think both sides wanted the ball to go into the cup. So that's why we were able to get this framework. I'm not sure that it's the game-changing agreement that it's being touted, but nonetheless, any incremental improvement in trade negotiations is a positive one. That's why the market seemed to like it today. But you alluded to the fact that there's lots of details to be ironed out, and as a result, there is the possibility that this could collapse as a result of ironing those details out, because they're the thorniest of the bunch. But again, nonetheless, incremental improvement. I think talking is a good thing with respect to these, but this was always the easiest one, and in that respect, I'm not surprised that it came first.
And Martin, just for context, the South Koreans have a trade agreement with the United States. The Canadians and Mexico does as well. Those were approved by Congress, and yet they have been reevaluated by the Trump administration. So it's not as if getting a trade deal creates permanent trade status.
You've hit on the central challenge, really, because ultimately a lot of people from other countries are saying, well, what is the point of negotiating these if they are going to change under the next administration? The best thing about trade agreements is that they should be above partisan politics and more about state-to-state negotiations rather than having a political tone. And at the moment, for better or for worse, they absolutely have this political tone. And it's even more galling, I think, from the U.S. trade perspective, that the USMCA, which was renegotiated by the president himself, is now the precursor for these extra tariffs and the perceived unfairness of the relationship between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So I think you're absolutely correct to highlight that. And that does present the kind of challenges I'm talking about when you are trying to establish these trade negotiations, frameworks, and ultimate deals going forward.
And Martin, as you well know, the markets were for a few days trying to assess how serious talks were between the Trump administration and the Chinese. A couple of weeks ago, the president kept saying they were going on. The Chinese kept denying it. It was sort of cat and mouse. Clearly, there will be talks tomorrow involving very senior administration officials and senior representatives of the Chinese government. How important is that in itself to the larger framework?
I think ultimately part of the reason that the markets were positive today to the degree that they were was because of exactly what you've just described. We're now starting to get détente between Washington and Beijing, and this is the absolute epicenter of the entire trade negotiation world. If we can somehow come to a de-escalation, which seems to be the first step that is hoped for from Washington, then there could ultimately be a pullback on tariffs, and the president has alluded to that. And then over the longer term, hammering out something of a negotiated agreement between these two massive trading partners. It's not only important from the United States perspective in order to ensure that goods continue coming in over the summertime and into the months heading up to the holidays, but it's also important, I think, Major, to make sure that China isn't reaching out to other countries in the world in order to try to cut bilateral trade agreements and therefore sidelining the United States. I know it sounds far-fetched, but nonetheless, it's one of those risks that's in place as a result of this very aggressive strategy. And I think that's exactly what the United States would like to avoid.
Point well taken. Martin Baccardax, thank you very much. I appreciate it.